All right, folks, it is that time again. Thank you for being here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are around the world. I am super excited for today's lesson. This is one of the key chapters in the book. We're going through the book, Trading with Joy. Um, and this chapter, probably along with patience and self-control, is one of the key chapters. And you think, well, how is faithfulness? You know what? We'll get there. First things first, let me know in the chat if everything sounds good in the audio. Also, if you have any prayer requests, we have one of our members that just had a brand new baby. Well, his wife did. He probably just stood around doing nothing. But anyway, praying for them. If you have anything that is going on in your life that you would like us to add to our prayer list, we're not going to make that prayer list public. We just know that we are praying for each and every one of you. Just send that to me at pepper@godlytrading.com, and we will put you on the list. All right, guys, so this is the foundational scripture of the book. And if you want to get a copy of the book, you can go to tradingwithjoybook.com to get a copy of it to go along with these lessons. So we have made it through self-control. That was a biggie. And gentleness. Again, gentleness was one of those that I wasn't quite sure where it was going to go, but I'm glad it went where it went. This week is on faithfulness. And I mentioned a minute ago that this is one of the foundational elements. And this one is just so applicable to traders. It's just amazing. Anyway, reading the verse. But the fruit of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. So you think, well, what does that even mean? How is this applicable to trading and to traders? First things first, we always look at the Greek word. I've said it before, and I will continue to believe this until the day I die, that the English language does us English-only speakers, otherwise known as Americans, a disservice because things just tend to lose a bit in translation. Man, the Greek and the Hebrew especially, just so rich when it comes to reading the meanings. But we're going to go through this word. So the Greek word there for faithfulness is, probably mispronouncing, pistis. And it means the conviction of a truth, a belief, a trust, and applying to a person, a character of one who can be relied on. Now, this is not just those first three. Obviously, the fourth definition we're going to get to very end of the lesson, so make sure you stick around for that. The first three, you think, well, those are kind of the same thing, but there's a big difference between trust and conviction. There's probably even a bigger difference between belief and trust and conviction, because that's like a spectrum. You can start off believing something, and then you trust it, and then you're convicted. I mean, we have heard of, and maybe a few of us have experienced, trust falls as an exercise in group building. There are no belief falls, but conviction fall would probably be a little bit stronger. But there's a difference between trust and conviction. That's what we're going to go over today. And I'm going to jump forward to Hebrews 11:1. Now, we don't know who wrote the book of Hebrews. There's a couple of different theories on who wrote the book of Hebrews. Odds are they weren't a day trader, maybe. Although, given how applicable some of these verses are, maybe they were. I love this verse. And you might have heard a version of this. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. This verse is going to be the bedrock of our trade plan, our strategy, our discipline. This is one of those bedrock principles that we're going to build upon. And I know you think, well, this verse is from the Bible. I don't believe the Bible. Well, thank you for being here if you don't believe the Bible. But again, this is applicable even if you are a member of the, I keep using that as an example, Klingon religion. By the way, I looked it up. And according to the Star Trek Wikipedia page, the Klingon religion doesn't actually have a name. That's very disappointing. So I need some sort of other completely fictional religion to use as a stand-in for every religion around the world. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Boy, don't we, as traders, we want to hope, right? But we need evidence sometimes. We want to have that evidence to hold us through those hard times. So faith in what we're doing, right? We've got to have faith that we're doing the right thing. We've got to have assurance that it's going to work, that this plan of ours is going to work. We've got to have trust in our broker, right? So you don't want to give your money to somebody and have them not be there. Conviction. that if Price has done a thing in the past, probably going to do something similar in the future. So faith is the substance. And what is substance? Substance is the word hypostasis. This, oh gosh, this is where Myron Golden says that the Bible is not a book of religion. It's a book that contains religion. And he is so right. It is so, he said I forget what he says, it's a practical book. It's a training manual. It is just a manual for how to live your life, especially as a trader. The definition of this word substance here, setting or placing under, firm foundation, confidence. How many of you would want to have or do want to have firm, resolute confidence in your trading? Resolute, I forgot that one. Resolute. One of the things that I'm growing closer and closer to, this sort of mission of ours, is reaching out to especially fathers who are looking to set their families up for financial security and financial freedom. This just clicks all of the. Can you click a button? Presses all those buttons. Clicks all the right buttons for that. Setting your trading up on a firm foundation, because we all know the drawdown is going to come, right? We all know that losses are going to happen. So faith is the substance, the firm foundation of things hoped for. Now, what's that word? All right, that one, where is this word? I don't know how you pronounce that. El piso means trust in. So faith, conviction, is the substance, the foundation of things that you trust in. The evidence, again, another Greek word there, elegchos, probably really, really botching that one. Proof, conviction, there's that word again. That by which a thing is proved or tested. Oh my goodness, does this not scream back testing, finding a strategy, placing your faith in it after you have tested it? So your trading assurance that what you are doing is right, what you're going to do is going to work. When the hard times come, what you are doing you just need to continue on, is built on your confidence and your trust in the system that you have proved. Now, guys, if you have found some system out there on YouTube or the internet or wherever it is, some guru says, hey, follow my system. You might follow it for a while. And what you are essentially doing is placing your trust in that other person. And I got to say, I've never trusted anybody that much. Maybe that's just me. But when losses start racking up, at some point, you're going to think, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. How am I supposed to stand on a firm foundation of evidence and trust and resolute conviction if I have no idea what was going through that person's mind when they created it? And I have no idea if they're telling me the truth, that they are currently trading it and they're currently making money with it. So in order to have trading assurance, you have to have a system that you have proved yourself. That is so critical. Find strategies all day long on social media, fantastic. Go prove them yourself first. What is going to be attacking your assurance? This remember we talked about, we had belief and we had trust and we had conviction. That sort of three-step method towards getting where you need to be, that resolute foundation. What is it in life that's going to start attacking you, this assurance that you have? Well, is it going to be losses? Is it going to be weird fluctuations in the market? Doubt. This is one of the main missions of godly trading. We are here to help traders overcome doubt. I mean, how many of you have ever been this guy? By the way, AI generated, I think the AI did a pretty good job on this one. You're convinced, which is not the same as having conviction. You're convinced that this system that you have is going to work, is absolutely fantastic. And then it starts to go a little haywire, starts to go a little more. I've got a system right now. I back tested it. I've got an algorithm. I'm testing out two different settings on this algorithm. One's conservative and one is aggressive. Now, the aggressive algorithm back tested after a year of like 150% return a year with like a 7% drawdown. We all know those are bogus numbers. There's no way that's going to work out. And right now it's doing exactly what I thought it would do, which is lose 70% of the time. And so, fortunately, this is just on demo. But I'm sitting there watching it going, oh, my goodness, this thing, how am I ever supposed to trust this if it's just going to, if losses are cumulative emotionally. Let me put it that way. And the more losses that happen, the more you start to expect them to happen, and you just feel this weight on you. So doubt is what creeps in on every walk of life, but especially with trading. Now, doubt's going to lead to some bad places as a trader. Number one, strategy jumping. I am so embarrassed to say how many times I switched strategies when I was first starting. I would try something out and it wouldn't work. And I'd try something else. And when I say it wouldn't work, I'm backing up to that long suffering session we had a couple weeks ago. How long was I giving it to work or not work, right? So I would say, hey, it's not working after a week or 2 weeks or a month. So let me jump to another one, right? Doubt will cause this to happen more than anything else. And you're never going to have a firm foundation if you don't stand in one spot. Doubt will give you unrealistic expectations like, well, I was told this would give me 100% return every day, and it's not. Or, well, I'm down 5%, so I need to make back 10% tomorrow, and I don't think I can do that. Impatience. These are all, well, I was going to say three sides of the same coin, but that's not how math works, or physics for that matter. But these are the consequences. This is why of doubt. This is why we are so focused on doubt. The word that I got from God driving to work that day was, aren't you tired of feeling that way? When I said doubt is cumulative, doubt will drive you to that point. We're at the bottom of that pit thinking, I just want the misery to stop. Fortunately, if only there was some ancient wisdom we could rely on here. Therefore, if you ever see a verse start off the word therefore, the question you ask yourself is, what is the therefore there for? And it's pointing back to the previous verse. Since we also are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, I didn't read that right, but I don't have my glasses on. Let us lay aside every weight. My goodness, how often have I thought that in my early years of trading? I just want this crushing weight to be gone. And the sin which so easily ensnares us. I'm not going to dive into the sin aspect of it here. I'm going to dive into the so easily ensnares us aspect of it. And let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. So that race that is set before us, by the way, is the markets. As a trader, what is the race set before us? It's our trading market, whatever that market happens to be. What is, and I've heard lots of preachers over my life try to postulate, what is the sin which so easily ensnares us? And the best I have heard up until about 3 months ago was, whatever sin you're most susceptible to. Well, that's great. Whoever wrote Hebrews was talking to some people specifically. He wanted them to know what he was talking about. What is the one sin that we, again, I'm going to use sin loosely. What is the one emotion when it comes to trading that we all so easily slide backwards into? It is doubt. Doubt is the emotion, the thing, for lack of a better term. Remember how I said English language is a terrible language? It was limited, I should say. Jumps all over you. Every day, it's like waiting behind a dark corner trying to jump out at you. Now, if faith turns you into Superman, then doubt is your kryptonite. And doubt, I call them the twin killers. Doubt brings along his buddy discouragement. And those two things are what kills traders. That, I submit, more than any other aspect of trading, will get you to quit. Early in my career, I thought, well, what is it? Why do traders quit? Because we always hear the statistic, 95% of traders fail. Well, what does fail mean? Fail means they give up at some point. Is it because they're losing money? If you've ever read the story, the book, Confessions of a Stock Operator, I can't remember if it was by Jesse Livermore or if it was about Jesse Livermore or if Jesse Livermore was the pen name. You understand what I'm saying there? That guy in the story, whether it was Jesse or somebody else, lost his entire trading account 3 or 4 times. So clearly losing money, blowing your account isn't what kills traders. It is having doubt jump all over you day after day after day after day, getting discouraged, feeling like you're at the bottom of that pit of despair with no way out but to quit. That is what kills traders. That is why we are here. Well, number one, to get you to this point where you can trade with joy, but number two, to lift you up out of that pit of despair before you quit. Because, guys, I'll say it again. I'll say it every single week. We are here as speaking as a father, speaking as someone who wants to create financial security and freedom for his family, to fulfill the command of Proverbs 13:22. A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. In my opinion, there's no better way to accomplish that than in trading. Trading is the universal rising tide that lifts all boats. Anyone can trade, right? I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. So how do we combat doubt? Well, remember the therefore. Therefore, since we are encumbered by such a cloud of witnesses. Now in Hebrews, the previous chapter, he's talking about, hey, since we've got this entire long list of people who did a really good job and were faithful in what they were doing. So for you, your cloud of witnesses, that's all the evidence that you have amassed that tells you that your trading system will work. And if you haven't amassed that evidence, what are you waiting for? Go do it. Right? You have to. Run your race. What kind of race is it? This is a marathon, not a sprint. How do we know this? Well, because we hope to be a trader for the next 30, 40, 50 years. And also, we skipped over this bit here. Run with endurance. No sprinter ever needed endurance. By the way, no sprinter ever won a marathon. It's possible that a marathoner could win a sprint, but a sprinter cannot win a marathon. They are completely different sports. But this is a marathon, and a marathon requires endurance. Diving in. Hypomony, that word, hypomony, phenomena. This means patient continuance. If there's ever any phrase that describes the answer to what do I do in my trading, patient continuance. Just continue, be patient, and keep going. Steadfastness. And remember, it's not a sprint. Cannot ever be a sprint. The people you see on social media will convince you that of their results, that you can get quick, that you can get rich. I hate to use that term. That you can be successful. You can have a large return quickly. They're telling you about a sprint. Now, if you got a prop firm and you're going to go in there and you're going to blast it and try to get a quick payout and then lose it, fine. It's a terrible strategy, but maybe you can make some money that way. The rest of us are in there for responsible trading, and that requires patient, steadfast, continuing in what you're doing day after day. Trading can be a slog, but the best trading is boring trading. I turn my platform on, I go clickety-click for about 5 to 7 minutes, I turn my platform off, I go back to what I was doing. That's boring, that's steady, that's what trading should be. How can we accomplish this steadfast continuance? Well, step number one, please back test your system. Even if you bought it from your brother who you would give a kidney to, or who gave you his kidney, you trust them with your life and your internal organs. At some point, your faith in that person will run out. There is a quote that the market can be more insane, the market can be more unreliable. What is that quote? The market can be more illogical. The market can stay more illogical longer than you can stay solvent, or something like that, right? The market can stay illogical longer than your trust in the person who you got your system from. It's not a quote that anybody's going to remember. The point is, you have to prove it yourself. You have to create evidence on your own. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Create that evidence, that resolute, firm foundation. Spend time on this. If you're going to create a trading system that you're going to trade for the next 5 years, take a month to spend on it. Take 2 months to spend on it. 5 years, that's 1/60th of the amount of time that you're going to be trading it. My goodness. Slow down and take the time. Display a little bit of that long suffering and self-control we talked about in the last few episodes. Build an expectation of success. That's the thing. Another way to dispel doubt and discouragement. When you get into a trade, get to the point in your head that says this trade's going to win. Now, sure, maybe it'll lose. There's the argument, expect the best and plan for the worst. That's a valid argument, but it's teetering on the edge of being dangerous when it comes to allowing doubt to creep back in. So this is a direct quote from the book. You have assurance that the evidence you proved will bring you success. Success. Boy, I botched that, didn't I? If, and only if, you continue with patience. It was an important, it's like I said, patience, self-control, and faithfulness are the three pillars of this book that we use to get to the joy and the peace and eventually the love. So guys, we're not done yet. We've got one more aspect to it that we're going to touch on briefly. But this is your formula for success. Faith in your system is the evidence of things hoped for. The substance of things hoped, evidence of things hoped for. The substance of things, I have completely botched that verse. I do apologize. You know what I'm trying to say. Build a firm, resolute foundation based on evidence that you had conviction in, that you can stand on when losses come, drawdown comes, and hard times come, and you know that the only way forward is patient continuance. Continue patiently. Now, there's that one other definition of faithfulness. We had those first three. Belief, trust, and conviction. That last one was a character upon which one can be relied. What does that mean? Well, is that you? Are you a faithful trader? Well, who am I being faithful to? Are you being faithful to your family? Are you being faithful to yourself? Are you being faithful to whoever owns the money that you're trading with? Are you being faithful to your group of three, your mentor, your fellow traveler, and your beginning trader that you're mentoring? Are you being faithful to those? There's a whole other half of the chapter in here. We're not going to be able to get into it today. I would encourage you to go read the book. The first half is about your system and you and your trade plan and internal. This aspect, are you a faithful trader, is all external. And that's what people see when they see you as a trader. This is also very critical. We're just not going to be able to get to it today because we are right up on our time limit here, guys. Thank you for being here. Next week is goodness. This one also, when I set out to write this book and I looked at goodness, this did not go at all where I thought it would go. Next week is really nuts and bolts, where you're trading and how and what you're trading. You think, how am I getting that out of goodness? Well, good news. Show up next week and find out. All right, guys, with that, I will see you all next week. Thank you for being here. Y'all have a blessed week.